Welcome to another episode of Building Stacklist. Super excited about today's episode. We're here with Mitch. He is a very recent Stacklist customer. He is a business owner that has worked with the largest enterprises in the world and is now pivoting to the consumer side. Well, not pivoting, I would say expanding into the consumer side. And we're here to talk about that. So let's go. Mitch, do you have anything to add to that little bio?
Happy to do it. Thank you so much for having me on your program today.
I guess I want to start on, Save My Electronics. What's that about? How has it been going? How did it start?
Yeah, so I gave up Save My Electronics a long time ago. What we're doing now is we have Investment Current. Investment Current is a trading educational system that allows you to learn how to trade options, build wealth for yourself, and eventually generational wealth for yourself and your family.
Wait, that's really cool. So when you say trade options, it's like you're able to trade.
What we're doing here is we're teaching people how to trade options on the open market and primarily on the SPX 500. Although we have people that come into my live trading room that trade the SPS 500, the XSP, the SPY, and various other types of underlying companies like NVIDIA.
Okay. NVIDIA. I once invested $500 in NVIDIA.
You did?
Yeah, it's
When?
850 now.
Yay, fantastic. So you're buying shares.
Yeah. So what's the difference between that and the options?
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're buying shares in the company, so you become an owner of that company, a partial owner. With options, you don't become an owner. They're cheaper to get into and can make you more money more quickly than buying shares.
Okay.
So, for example, we trade 0-day options, which means that the option opens in the morning at 9:30 and closes every day at 4 o'clock. Okay. We have multi-day options as well available, and that would go maybe, a week, 3 days to a week. So you'd buy an option today, and in 3 days or 5 days, it would expire. Okay.
Gotcha.
There are different strategies around this. We just prefer intraday trading, something called pattern day trading, where we follow the patterns up and follow the patterns down, and we make money going up and we make money going down.
I like that. Nice.
Okay? And we are buyers rather than sellers. So we buy and sell the options. Other people in this industry sell options and then buy them back.
And can you tell me a little bit about the business model? So if somebody wanted to get your help buying options, they want to start investing, what does the process look like?
So the process is first come into our live trading room. We have a 5-day free trial. We'd like for you to come in and experience. We like our students to come in and experience what
In person?
trading options are going to be in person on Zoom with a live trading room. Many of the option companies out there that are training have live option trading rooms, but what they offer is a chat box, and the only person getting the chats typically is the leader. I have an open flow trading room, which means people are interacting all day long, talking with one another, asking questions, and the whole group benefits from the questions that they ask and the answers that we are providing them. Once they have done that and commit to the room, we have an educational program all set up. It's called Investment Current Trading Education. And we have a learning management system. Are you familiar with what a learning management system is?
Yes, like an LMS, right?
Yeah. It's an LMS. That's right. And so we have 4 different courses. We have an introductory course. We have something called Naked Trading course, where people learn how. The first course, the introduction, is just to become familiar and learn the language of the market. The next course is a Naked Trading course, where we give you a blank chart to read and learn how to interpret that chart so you can anticipate which way the market is going to flow. Is it going to flow up? Is it going to flow down? Or is it going to go sideways? We only make money when it goes up, and when it comes down, when it's just going sideways, we don't make any money at all.
So it sounds like you've built a business that is like kind of multiple things, right? It's like a school, sort of. It's like an educational kind of community. Then there's the
Yeah,
trading aspect where it's just like you can go and use it to trade, right? You need a mechanism. You provide that as well.
we do
And
not.
oh, you don't?
We are not a broker.
Okay.
So they have to have their own brokerage account. Schwab,
With like
Fidelity,
Robinhood work?
TradeStation, Robinhood. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
you got
So
it.
you just go
So
in with
that's
your
a
app.
broker. That's right. They also have to have access to a program called TradingView. TradingView is 100% just charting. Combined with the live trading room and the education, we've had about 250 students come through our program, and we've had about a 30 to 35% success rate with those students. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a lot until you compare it to a baseball player going up to bat. And
Yeah.
if he's batting 30%, he's the hero of the team, right?
Yeah.
He's getting on base 30% of the time, right?
And I'm
Yeah.
curious about the demographic of your students. Are they mainly people who trading is what they do, or is it like beginners who are just starting out and looking into it and maybe doing it as like a side hustle or a hobby? Like which of those?
It is all of that.
All of that.
All of that. We have four different demographics. The first demographic are young people coming out of high school or college that don't really have any of their own money, but they have decided that they're not going to pursue a job in corporate America, for example. Excuse me. What they're doing is they're trading, their parents are opening up accounts for them so they can learn how to trade
Ah,
and so they're trading their parents' money. Then we have 25-year-olds to 40-year-olds who are in corporate America, been working in corporate America for a while, and have said, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't like the bureaucracy. I don't like my boss. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't care for any of this. So, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way that they can replace their income while they're still working and eventually move out of corporate America and on and into their own entrepreneurial space.
yeah.
And that includes trading options. The next demographic is from 45 to 60. And those people are looking over their shoulder, much like I did when I retired, and said, oh my God, I didn't save enough money. I'm going to outlive my money for retirement. So those people are looking for ways to build their retirement account. So we're doing that. And then the last group, the last demographic are those people that are already retired who have gotten sick and tired of sitting on the couch, watching TV every day, letting their brains go to mush. And now they're looking to learn something new and add a little money to their retirement. So
Those are
those are
great.
the four demographics.
The four, yeah, they all make a lot of sense. And I'm wondering, so you've mentioned 250 people so far have gone through the whole schooling,
Yeah.
35% batting average. Amazing. How did you get started and how did you get these first 250 people?
Yeah. So I retired in October of 2015. And I looked over at my 401k, my IRA, and retirement program, said, oh my God, I'm going to outlive my money. I only had $400,000 in that account. And that's not enough to retire, given that we have in America extended our ages of life. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so I started saying to myself, well, I either have to go to work for Quick Trip. Do you know who Quick Trip is?
Uh-oh.
It's a gas station chain. or become a Walmart greeter, or do something that I can earn some money. And I started going to these mastermind groups to get an idea as to what I could do. And I met this guy who went up on stage and started showing me things about trading and buying shares and buying stock, which I always let my broker do, right?
Yeah.
And my broker, I came back to him and started taking some of his classes and taking some of his webinars and doing other things. And I started coaching people within his classes. Did that for about 5 years. And he taught us an options trade called a credit spread, where you buy one strike price, you buy one option, you sell the other together, and you get paid. You get paid a credit for that. So the problem with credit spreads is that they only give you 4% return on your capital. And if you get out early, like I often did, you'd only get 3.5%. That's not enough money to live on. And you have to have a lot of money. So one contract is about $500 or so, that you're risking. 100 contracts is $5,000.
Right.
Right? Now they'll pay you $5,000 to keep, to have 100 contracts. That money goes directly into your account. The problem is that, I did fairly well for 9 months, right? Did fairly well for 9 months until disaster happened. And in October of 2016, the market crashed and took me out of every one of my trades. Not only did it erase all the money that I had made the 9 months prior to that, but I also lost some of my principal. And I said, whoa, I'm not real happy with this. I'm not sure this is the right method to be using. So I looked around and I found this guy that was teaching intraday trading, pattern day trading. And I started taking courses from him. And right off the bat, within 6 months, I lost $150,000.
Darn it.
That was a third of my portfolio. And I had tears in my eyes, and I went to Diana and confessed. And I said, Diana, I lost $150,000 out of our small little portfolio. My God, I'm so embarrassed. I feel so bad, And she looked me square in the eye. This kind of person Diane is. She looked me square in the eye and she said, keep going. I fired the guy that I was working with because I was in his live trading room, but he wasn't telling me when to get in. He wasn't telling me when to get ready. He wasn't telling me where the targets were. He wasn't telling me that he had a secret formula over here called I call it getting on base, hitting singles rather than home run. And by the time that I was getting into that trade, he was already taking profits out of that trade. And I just lost and lost and lost and lost. And I had these grandiose things saying, I'm going to make $10,000 today. I'd wake up and say, I'm going to make $10,000 today. Right? Yeah. It was all fantasy because I didn't have the proper coaching, nor did I have the proper education. So what I did was I paid for a lot of education. I went back to those educational videos and I reviewed them and reviewed them and reviewed them and reviewed them some more. And every day I practiced. And then I developed my own set of rules, my own set of entries and exits. I also, every time I got into a trade, I would shake. My whole body would shake because I was losing all that money, right? And so I found out that there's 3 things you need when you're trading. 4 things, really. You need education. It's absolutely critical. You have to have the education or you're going to fail. The next thing you need is emotional control. You need to master your emotions.
Disqualified.
Yeah. No, listen, I get it. A lot of people say that, but the truth is that when you're trading, every single emotion comes out of you.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
patience. You have to wait for the market to bring that trade to you and not invent one, if you will. Because if you invent one, you're going to lose. So we have very specific rules, right? You need confidence to trade. You have to learn that. These are all learnable things. You also have to have patience. Did I say patience before?
Yeah, but I think it's so
Yeah.
important. It's worth a second mention.
Yeah. Patience is really, really important. It's just so important. And you need discipline. You have to realize that there's going to be wins and losses, and that's just part of the game that we're playing, right? You wouldn't go out and buy something just to return it, right? You would buy it to use it. Well, that's what my program helps people do. It helps them develop discipline, patience, and emotional control.
And Mitch, can you tell me a little bit about how you got your first students?
Yeah, so we got all of them through word of mouth. As I told
Word.
you before, I worked 5 years in this other program as a coach. One of my other friends came over, asked me if I would teach him what I was doing, and I taught him. And then he did such a great job. He went back to another person, and one student turned into three students, turned into five students, turned into 10 students, that turned into 100 students eventually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what's your plan like with Stacklist? Are you thinking about it in terms of
Yeah,
like expansion or what are
yeah,
you
I'm
thinking?
thinking about it as an expansion, but I'm also thinking about it as part of the educational experience I want to provide.
Yeah.
Stacklist has been an incredible tool. I think eventually Stacklist will replace websites. I
We think
really
so too.
do. Okay. And the woman that I live with is a web mistress. She built my website. And she's been building websites for small to medium sized businesses for the last since 1995. Can't even tell you that's 31 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So she's been building websites, and in fact, she is a WordPress guru here in Atlanta and teaches people all about WordPress,
That's
right? So she's
awesome.
tied into that. She's tied into that whole community, right?
Yeah.
And so, she's been the most creative, intelligent, supportive woman that I've ever lived with. And I have no eyes for any other woman but her.
I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And so I plan on using Stacklist as another additional educational tool. As a matter of fact, Stacklist, the Stacklist team, has been incredibly fast and responsive to my requests. I could not believe how quickly this platform came up for us. And now I have 5 years, almost 6 years, about 5.5 years, almost 6 years of recorded live trading sessions that I have done. And Stacklist has this API that integrates with Fathom and is now taking all of that content, searching the content for themes, and we'll be adding a lot more content directly from the room with the video of the room trading together.
That's awesome. That's such a good
Yeah.
use case.
Yes, and we're gonna put that all on the stack list. So in fact, Kyle, I don't know, Kyle is the owner of Stacklist,
Yeah.
and he set up an API, and the API, the Fathom had shut the API down because it got 11,500 touches, and so Stacklist, I mean, Kyle said, okay, slow down, Chat GPT. They're hungry for information, right? They're just really hungry. The and the other unique thing about Stacklist is that it's tied into all these AI sites. which are really hungry for information, which will give us a broader view, if I can say it that way, a broader audience for our program and services.
Yeah, because all of that knowledge that you're going to be putting into your Stacklist hub is going to be a lot easier for AI systems to index now. So they'll be
I
able to
think so.
cite you.
Yes, I think so. Which, and we've tried we've tried advertising. We've spent so much money on advertising, it's ridiculous. We tried it on Google, we tried it on LinkedIn and X and Meta, Facebook and Instagram, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think that's the truth that a lot of people don't really want to admit. But I also think that social media ads don't really work at all.
They do not really work at all. So
Yeah.
along comes Julia Riga. Do you know Julie Riga?
Yes. Oh my
Right?
God. She's the best. We love her.
Right. So she reaches out to me one day and says, I'd like to interview you. Really? Really? And I was always nervous in front of a camera. I'm okay now. I've had 10,000 hours of being in front of a camera on Zoom 5 days a week from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how late, that's how my room is open today. 5 days a week from 9 to 4. And so I'm there all day. And I don't encourage my students to stay there all day because there's only really 2 times of the day to trade options. The morning open till about 11 to 11:30, and the close of the day from 3 to 4.
Huh.
The rest of the day, the market just sort of goes sideways. Now you can trade, and I find some trades in there, but they're rarer than the morning trades and the evening trades. And so I started doing that. I got my $150,000 back in 6 months after I fired the guy and built my own rules, my own trading plan. I fixed my psychology. I had lots of talks in the mirror. I had notes everywhere. You're a good guy. It doesn't matter how many zeros you have or not behind your name. You're a good guy, and that's never going to change. So stop what you're doing. And so it was, it took a while. It took a while. I had to change my psychology, which, it's kind of hard to do. It really is hard to do.
Very.
And then within 5 years, within 3 years, I had enough money that I never had to worry about money again. I have zero bills. Every dime of it is put away into an account, a special account. I call it the generational wealth account. And so we just keep adding to that account. Diana and I went to Financial Peace University. Do you know what that is?
University?
No. You ever hear of a guy named Dave Ramsey?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. If you don't have this education, you're young enough to start. Look him up and go to Financial Peace University online and take his courses. He teaches how to budget your money
I need help with that.
the same way that your great grandparents did it. I don't think your grandparents did it, but your great grandparents had envelopes, and they'd stuff cash into these envelopes, and one would be for the mortgage or the rent, one would be for food, one would be for cleaning, one would be for emergencies, one would be all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Well, he taught me how to do that. In fact, Diana and I did it together. And if you have a loved one that you're living with, that you're married to, or that you are thinking about getting married to, bring him or her along with you. Bring him along with you, because Ivana, this will change your whole life. And so Diana and I, we did this 33 years ago. We still have envelopes today. And
What?
Diana and I have no bills really other than utilities and food and, going out to restaurants and, you know, we don't have any car payments. We don't have any of that stuff, right? We pay cash for everything. And so we live off our Social Security check. I get about $3,000 a month out of Social Security,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. $2,000 a month goes into the savings account, and we live on about $1,000.
How?
We have no bills. We don't have a mortgage. We don't have car payments. We don't have, we just don't have any. We don't have any bills.
That's awesome. I want to take your class.
Yeah, please. I mean, feel free. Go to investmentcurrent.com and sign up for our free trading room, free trial. It'll ask you for a credit card. It's $87 a month. It's not a lifestyle changer,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Plus transaction fees. So it's about $91 a month, a little more than 91. And come in for 5 days and see what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Yeah.
I call out every trade. I identify patterns on the charts. I'm identifying entries, exits, and stop loss areas, right, for pattern day traders. And I'm doing this live as we are trading.
Yeah. You'll see me. You're going to see me maybe next week or the week after. You'll see me in that room.
Whatever. And tell your friends about it.
Yeah.
And begin learning about money. We have one of the best countries in the world. The United States is one of the best countries in the world. But what we have done to our children is irresponsible. We haven't taught them anything about money and how to manage it. It wasn't until I was 18 years old, 17 years old when I left home, and Dad took me over to the bank and opened up a checking account so I'd have a checking account. I didn't know how to write out a check. And not only that, this little thing, the balance sheets that they used to have on it, I never recorded anything. I didn't know to write it down. So I never really knew how much money I had. And I get these notices, overdrawn. What do you mean I'm overdrawn? I'm 73 now. It's a lot different today. Right?
Yeah. If I had to write down each time I spent something, I would never know. I would just not know how much money I have ever.
Right. So now we have programs like Quicken. I use Quicken extensively, both for my personal and my business. So I know since 1993, when I started getting automated, I can tell you to the penny every cent that I've spent and where I spent it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot of financial discipline, a lot.
We've done an injustice to our children, including our children. We have 5 children. Diana had 3 and I had 2. We brought everybody together and had a modern household. Everybody had a different last name.
My family's like that too.
Right, yeah. But we survived, right? We survived.
We had fun.
We have a lot of fun. So that's what Investment Current is all about. That's why we chose Stacklist. And Diana, being a web mistress, was sort of concerned about that. And a few days after we got the initial Stacklist up, she came to me and she said, you made a good investment.
So the web expert likes it. That's the biggest step of approval.
Yep. The web mistress.
The web mistress.
Yes. Yeah. And so when I was talking to Kyle the other day, I said, what can I do to help you? And we talked about doing this podcast together.
This was awesome, Mitch. Thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation. I loved hearing about your story. I loved hearing about your family. I loved hearing about how you got started. This is really, really great. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. So thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Amazing.
We have enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for having me on your show.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye bye.